A significant stride towards bolstering national defence capabilities and emphasizing the Make in India initiative, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the ammunition manufacturing complex of Adani Defence System and Technologies Limited. This landmark event not only showcases the expansion and modernization of defence production in India, but also underscores the nation's commitment to reducing dependency on imports through domestic manufacturing. The inauguration of the ammunition manufacturing complex is a testament to India's growing prowess in the defence manufacturing sector. By leveraging advanced technologies and fostering collaboration between the public and private sectors, this move is set to enhance India's self-reliance in defence ammunition production. The Make in India initiative, championed by the government, aims at promoting domestic industries, and the establishment of this complex is a significant step forward in achieving that goal. During the event, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh highlighted the importance of such advancements in ensuring the nation's security and sovereignty. The complex, equipped with state-of-the-art technologies, is expected to produce a wide range of ammunition, thereby strengthening the armed forces' operational capabilities. The inauguration coincides with the Defence Research and Development Organization's DRDO's recent initiative at the Maharashtra MSME Defence Expo 2024, where it handed over 23 technologies transfers licensing agreements to various industries. This move, aimed at fostering innovation and indigenization in defence manufacturing, complements the establishment of the ammunition manufacturing complex by providing cutting-edge technologies for domestic production. Chief Minister Yogi and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the complex. Let's listen into what they said.
ये वही उत्तर प्रदेश है जिसमें 2017 के पहले जिस उत्तर प्रदेश को देश के विकास की सबसे बड़ी बाधा माना जाता था, आज यह उत्तर प्रदेश आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में सर्वांगीण विकास के नित नए प्रतिमान स्थापित कर रहा है।
रक्षा क्षेत्र की मजबूती के मूलतः दो पहलू होते हैं। एक तो सैन्य बलों की मजबूती, उनकी ट्रेनिंग, उनकी प्रिपेयर्डनेस, उनके पास जो आर्म्स एंड एम्यूनिशन हैं उसकी उत्कृष्टता, और दूसरा होता है उसके पीछे का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, यानी टेक्नोलॉजी, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट का बेस और डिफेंस इंडस्ट्रियल बेसिस।
All right, Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Joint Director, DRDO, senior scientist with us on the program. Major General G.G. Dwivedi, Global Strategic Affairs expert, also joins us on the program. Major General Shashi Asthana, former Additional DG Infantry, Global and Defence expert, also with us on the program. Last but not the least, Major Mohammad Ali Shah, Defence expert, is with us on the show as well. General Dwivedi, how do you hail this this particular event as? Obviously, India, for the for the most part of this century and the last one, was very concerned about the imports that we were dependent on. Was very concerned about basically appeasing the people from whom we took equipment, and strategically were not able to foment relationship because we had to rely on them for our defense equipment. Now this streak of Atmanirbharta and self-reliance is at stake. What do you make of this horizon that we are staring at?
Well, Vanith, I think you gave a very detailed background and set the stage for very meaningful discussion. Well, I think that given India's security imperatives, self-reliance is no more an option. And I think the government of the day is in the right direction to ensure that our import dependency decreases, because ironically, despite the huge challenges in security, still our almost 60% of equipment is imported. So therefore, I think this articulation as of the policy of self-reliance and also developing the corridors is, I think, the way forward. Now, 2-3 important points in this. Firstly, when you create corridors, you create an ecosystem, and that's what the major companies and those major countries which are exporting weapons have clusters and have corridors. And this UP corridor has 6 important nodes: Lucknow, Kanpur, Aligarh, Agra, and they all specialize in one particular equipment. Secondly, it's very important to have the academic institutions. And here we have stronger institutions like IITs, IIMs, so they integrate the expertise like what is happened in Silicon Valley, what happened if it has happened Boeing, Lockheed Martin. So I think that this approach is the right approach, creating corridor, creating cluster. Second point is that we need to now fast forward the process because from the Ukraine war, the war in Israel, Hamas, it is now quite well established that old myth that war will be short and quick doesn't hold ground anymore. So therefore, you have to be prepared for long wars. Therefore, the country has to have the capacity to manufacture ammunition, weapon system for longer wars. And thirdly, I think it's the time that we need to integrate the technology that is already available, especially with our partners and allies, and we need to take a quantum jump. Case in point, we started the fifth generation stealth fighter program in 2010, almost same time South Korea and Turkey started. But their aircraft prototype are already up in the air. But our AMCA is still a couple of years away. So all I can say is that government has taken the right step. We need to give it correct momentum and ensure that this ecosystem makes us self-reliance not only for our own needs, but for also exports, because government has set a target for about $5 billion in next about 3-4 years, and they're talking about 3 lakh crores, that is about $30 billion by end of the decade. So I think that's a way forward, and we need to gear up for the challenges through our own self-reliance. Vineet.
Absolutely right. General Asthana, how do you see this development? And obviously, it is not only about being self-reliant over here. There's a certain superiority that countries who have been exporters of defense equipment get to enjoy, and India definitely wants to be a part of that club. In the past, a lot of things haven't worked out. A lot of our plans haven't worked out, but all seems to be going in the right direction. And now with this, private angle also coming in, where do you see the defense industry going? Obviously, it's going to go from strength to strength, but the pace at which it goes from one level to the next, which is obviously higher, is going to be phenomenal, and the government has laid the groundwork for that.
I agree with you. For any country to be self-reliant in defense manufacturing, private industry has a very important role to play. Whether you take the case of America, whether you take any of the countries who are the biggest suppliers of the defense hardware. Now, let me put this in context. To become self-reliant, firstly, is very important because we are the largest importer of military hardware in the world, which is about 11%. And this is not a very good tag. Russia-Ukraine war has shown that Russia could actually turn the tides because they had the surge capability and they had the manufacturing capability, and they have been able to sustain the manufacturing capability because of being self-reliant. So therefore, we need to be there. Now, to be there are 3 things which are required. One is policies, second is processes, and third is the structures to be in place. Today, what you saw in UP and in Kanpur, all this is the structures being placed at the appropriate place. As far as policies are concerned, I think a lot has been done in the recent past. We have made the new foreign trade policy. The FDI in defense manufacturing has increased from 49% to 74%. Similarly, we also looked at foreign collaboration in a very positive manner. We improved our ease of doing business. And the most important problem which the private industry earlier had was a very high cost of R&D. Now, to bring that cost of R&D, obviously, even we don't have a money, and we spend even less than 1% on R&D. So therefore, what we did was that we opened up the collaboration. So today, what you have shown is a collaboration with the Israelis as well as with a company of Bulgaria. So this is so we have facilitated that. Secondly, coming on to the processes, what we have done is that we have also categorized. We have made our defense procurement procedures, tweaked them to suit our requirement in a manner that the highest priority has been given to IDDM category. Now, IDDM is indigenously designed, developed, and manufactured capable equipment. Now, that is the most preferred equipment which is to be purchased. Similarly, we also made procedures in a manner that whatever we can manufacture ourselves, which is called as positive indigenization list. So we insisted on that. So that should not be imported. And I think over 400 odd items have been included in that, with about 4 to 5 lists which have been made out. Similarly, we have also gone in for GOCO model. Now, the commercially, the private companies, as I said, R&D cost was high. So therefore, R&D infrastructure which has been developed by the DRDO, we have started sharing that as well, which is called as government-owned, commercially operated model. So that was another thing which we did. Similarly, transfer of technology policies we improved in a manner that earlier West was not giving us technology. Thereafter, we increased the cost that we will buy the equipment with technology, with TOT. And therefore, you find that, and also we made foundational agreements for that, as is the case with the United States. So therefore, the transfer of technology has started, and which will make us Atmanirbhar in true sense. So that is, these are some of the measures which I just mentioned in all the 3 categories. And once we develop in all the 3 categories, that is processes, policies, processes, and structures, that is the way forward, and that is how we can become Atmanirbhar. And then the defense industry is an export-oriented industry in a manner that it can earn a fair amount of money. Even when we are just taking off, the orders for BrahMos are there, orders for Tejas are there. Obviously, we'll first make up for our own self, and then we will be exporting. But then the fact is that we have been able to increase our defense exports by almost 21 times from last 11 years or so, which has now pegged at about 16,000 crores. And as was mentioned, we are trying to increase by the end of the decade up to 5 to 10 trillions or something like that, 5 to 10 billions or something like that. So that is how I think it's totally in the right direction, in the manner in which I just explained, highlighted some of the points. Vineet.
All right, great points there, sir. Group Captain Vigen Jha, very recently the government also allowed, foreign investment into our space sector as well. If you marry this with what we are seeing when it comes to Atmanirbharta and defense production and export, and the target of 3 lakh crores as well, how poised are we to rule this area in the next decade or so?
Well, we need to be very frank. Government has, for the first time, put a vision of totality. That means when we have indigenous product, which is competitive with the global market, global standard, then obviously there will be buyers. Earlier, before we modernized and reformed the ordnance depot, even the armaments, ammunition for MiG-21 used to be procured directly from the OEM, Russia. That was the type of problems that we had. Today, after the reformation of the ordnance depots, the indigenous content, even for the advanced weapons, ammunitions, all these are in the pipeline of being manufactured here. That is one small thing. Secondly, as General Sana was pointing out, see, there is a new defense acquisition procurement procedure in place, what we call it DAPP, that was made as late as 2020. And that has been done keeping the entire view in total. That means if we have an equipment or ammunition or anything which is worth exporting, competitive with the global standards, there will be buyers like BrahMos. Our Tejas aircraft is 4.5G aircraft. Avionics are almost like 5th generation. It has got the high capability, and when any country buys that, you will see that defense export, it jumps. It is not linear. It will be exponential jump in the defense exports. So if we have equipment which is competitive with the global market, there will be such jumps in the export. And we should not just look at the export. Look what we were procuring earlier. Everything, every high-end technology, equipment used to be bought from global markets. And for that, we have to spend. Today, with the Atmanirbhar plan in place, and it is working out phenomenally, because it is for the first time India has made that aircraft carrier. India has made the Tejas fighter aircraft, which is highly technical, highly versatile. India is making those lightweight tanks, those lightweight howitzer, and so many other things. So all from the Air Force, Navy, and Army side, whatever is the high-tech equipment, now that is being manufactured here with a different indigenous content that we can talk later on. But today, with Buy Indian, that is the indigenously developed and design and developed equipment, Buy Indian with the Indian vendors, buy global equipment for the capital procurement with some amount of indigenous component, or there will be some offset values produced in India, and buy and make Indian, that is with the TOT. With all this, defense exports, defense production is likely to grow exponentially. Today we have already gone from $1.186 million worth of defense exports in 2016 to today, last year, 2021-22, the figure of which came last year, to almost about 25 times more. So that is the type of capability India today has, and we will only grow further. I hope the government continues with its policy. Government continues with the slightly more investment into the indigenous R&D, and with that, high technology equipment will be produced here, which will be at par, if not better, than any other equipment in the world. For example, the light howitzers for the mountain battalion that is being produced now with the L&T and Korean component. It's competitive. It's at par with anything best in the world today. Similarly, is the Arjun tank Mark 1A with almost about 40 odd plus value additions given onto the original tank. So, the sky is the limit for the defense equipment that is now being produced in India, and for which R&D also is going on. I also salute indigenous component of it through the DRDO or other agency, which is putting plenty of effort to make those equipment here. So hats off in the coming days with the global investment FDI being made, as we have, other day we were discussing about the space sector. Now government has opened the FDI to almost about 100% in some area and 49% in other areas. So in the coming years, we are going to see a very significant change in all of this, and I hope Government of India continues with this policy, and we are going to see a very happy day of the defense productions and defense exports in totality. And India will be a major player in the world, if not the best.
Right, exactly. And Major Mohammad Ali Shah, the idea is to, take up this space and, also make a profit out of, these exports. And not to forget, the clout that India is going to have with countries that have always depended on, say, a France or a US or a Russia for the defense imports, are going to be having a new partner. And that's, of course, going to reflect in more ways than one in the Indian economy also.
Absolutely, Vineet. Firstly, I can't help but complimenting you on your understanding and your knowledge about the defense sector, because, we are from the forces over here, the panelists over here. You being from a non-armed forces background and you know so much, it's really commendable. Now,
thank you.
On that note, Vineet, I'll tell you, just before I came live with you, a friend of mine called up just now. And I said, I have to go live with Vineet just now, and I have to speak on the defense corridor and on the UP, the defense corridors coming up there. The Chief Minister just inaugurated today. You'll be surprised to know that the person from the non-military background did not know what a defense corridor means, did not know what MSC is. So firstly, since my senior officers, they gave very good information, very good inputs, I would just simplify it slightly for those people who are from a non-defense background. Firstly, as we all know, we all would be knowing what MSE is, the micro and the medium and small scale enterprise, right? Now, why is it called a defense corridor first? What do people understand by a corridor? In a house, a corridor would link you from your bedroom perhaps to your drawing room. Similarly, like in UP, Kanpur, Lucknow, Aligarh, that belt, it links. अगर हम कुछ बना रहे हैं, so we would procure the raw material from somewhere, we would assemble it somewhere. So they would be, it can get very tricky. Now it will all going to be, the connectivity is very, very good. Similarly, I've given the example of a house like this for people to understand. Secondly, now this entire 500 acre of land in UP where this whole plant is, this whole formation is going to come up. Sometime back, if you remember, our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh had said, we want India not just to make in India or make for India, we want India to make for the world. As you rightly said, there was a time when India was in awe and used to watch nations like Israel, Russia, they would US, they would manufacture and they would send to the world. Today, we are in a position, Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are making India, we are in a position, we are actually exporting military equipment to nations like Philippines and other nations as well. I would like to quickly quote Mr. Ashish Rajvanshi. He's the CEO of the Adani Defense and Aerospace. What he said was, with a planned investment of over rupees 300 crores, it is an impact, its impact extends far beyond the defense sector. It will create over 4,000 jobs with 5 times the multiplier effect on MSMEs, which I just mentioned about the micro and the medium scale enterprises, and the local ecosystem benefiting from it indirectly. We are committed to ensuring that our efforts are inclusive and sustainable, fostering growth while preserving the environment for generations to come. So this is a major boost. Now UP, which is, I would call it, we all know it's the 4th largest state in the country with boast of 3rd highest in economy in the country with over 200 million population. It's a step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, towards employment. एक और one more important point, वो जमीन जो है ना अपनी, वो बंजर जमीन थी. It was barren land which was not being made to good use. I think it's a great idea. We have a similar defense corridor in Tamil Nadu. Now we have a defense corridor in UP. So most certainly it's something I would like to congratulate. And I would like to conclude by saying our Chief of the Army Staff, General Manoj Pandey, gave a brilliant statement, brilliant talk about this inauguration. So I commend the entire defense sector for this, Vineet.
All right, we've run out of time. We'll take concluding thoughts from all our guests, starting with General Dwivedi.
Well, Vineet, I think today we are in the era of comprehensive national power, which is the combination of hard and soft power. So all the nations which are self-reliant and which also have the ability to sell their defense equipment also wield a lot of soft power. So therefore, we as a country who are vying for the top space on the top table, I think defense industry is a very important component of our power. And secondly, when you have self-reliance in defense industry, you are able to formulate your own doctrines. And that means that you are able to fight the future wars as per your doctrinal imperatives and also with your defense equipment. And third and the last point is that as a nation, I think it's a time that we are able to galvanize all our potential. That means our scientific potential, our imperatives of the industry, and last and least, our intellectual capability. I think all these put together would definitely see India as a top defense exporter, as also a very major emerging power. And to that extent, these defense corridors are going to be the lifeline for the future. Vineet.
All right. General Asthana?
See, defense manufacturing is going to boost Indian economy as well, which is the most important element of comprehensive national power. And as it was mentioned, nowadays countries do not fight, only militaries don't fight. The comprehensive national power is put against the other country when it comes to the confrontation. That's one part of it. Secondly, I would say that a fair amount of innovations are also being done. There is an organization called as IDEX, which we have started off, which says that it's innovation for defense excellence. The whole aim is putting the academia, scientists, defense manufacturers, industries everybody and colleges, IITs, everybody put together so that we produce something which is worthwhile. And lastly, I would say that India has a great opportunity. Western equipment is very costly. Russia doesn't have the capacity because of the involvement of war to supply everybody. Chinese equipment is not reliable.
Absolutely.
And therefore we have a space. And in that space, if we make best use of the foreign, shall I say, of the exports, I think we can do a lot of good to the country in terms of economy as well as in terms of self-reliance. Vineet.
Right, and Group Captain Jha, let's also not forget that how this improvement in this sector by India is also going to vex China. So you're muted. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There you go, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Look, China is not an issue. Earlier, of course, we used to buy everything from outside. Gone are the days with the new procurement policy, with the new FDI policy, offset policy, indigenization policy, and innovation policy. The Indian products are going to be competitive and at par with that, as already we have discussed. If India has to remain a regional power or has to become a global power, the component, the proportion of the equipment will be enormous that has to be procured. And with the Atmanirbhar plan or Make in India or some of the capital global products being bought, it has to have a policy in which our Indian indigenization component or Indian component has to keep on growing. And with that, I compliment the government for having this holistic view, and it will only grow in the coming days.
All right, Ali, 10 seconds.
Right. As our Chief Minister, the UP Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath, rightly said that, it's heartening to see that within 18 months of procurement of the land and commencement of this project, the way on the fast track it's going. And we also heard our Chief of the Army Staff, General Manoj Pandey, say such large investments and the willingness of Adani Defense and Aerospace to indigenize critical technologies have built confidence in the users to depend on Indian private industry for strategic military supplies. This itself goes a long way to boost the morale of the country. And I would like to conclude by saying the complex is a major milestone in India's journey towards self-reliance in the defense sector.
Absolutely. And, this is a big game changer. It's a transformation. It's also a pledge that the Modi government has made of transforming, performing and reforming as well. And it falls under that ambit. And it obviously has the potential and the propensity to take India to newer heights when it comes to, a global power. Would like to thank all my guests for being a part of this wonderful conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.